Hi everyone, welcome to DIY Ideas. So today I'm going to show you different straps for your top that you can put on your top after you've sewn it, and I'm going to show you different styles and a couple of tips and tricks as well. So stay tuned. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the thing I use the most on my tops, which is basically a spaghetti strap, so a thin strap out of regular fabric. So I have here some jersey fabric, so a little bit stretchy, it's great to work with, and it's perfect for straps. The only thing that matters is that you work in the direction that the actual fiber goes in, and that you're going to see when you take a closer look at your fabric. It's probably not visible on here, but you're going to be able to see it on your piece, no problem. So my width is about 5 centimeters. It's not an issue if it's a little bit more or less. You see I don't have straight lines, but it's still gonna work. So we're gonna fold it pretty side on pretty side, and then we're gonna pin everything to keep it in place. So now that we have this done, we can just take our foot and the foot of the sewing machine and basically go along the edge of the fabric, so the edge that's closed and that we want, and then we're going to do a stitch on the opposite end, on the open end. So when we do that, we're going to turn it inside out. So let's do that first. So now that we did this, I removed the leftover fabric that I don't need, and then I want to turn it inside out. So I'm going to show you different styles. How you can do this, it's pretty simple either way. So you can use a regular pencil or something like a heart of your pen, if you can take it out, or anything that has such a thin shape. And then we can go on the inside and basically kind of push the one end all the way to the other to turn it inside out. It does take a little bit, but it is an effective way to do it. The other way to do it is with a safety pin, which is what I do mostly because I think it's faster, which is basically to pin just one side and just keep pushing it through until you turn it inside out. So in this case, I would need a pretty small safety pin, as you can see, to make it work since it's pretty thin. The third option is to take a sewing needle and again go through just the one side, and then you just want to basically pull the thread through a couple of times. Of course, there's a knot at the end so that it doesn't keep going through, and we're going to do this 3 or 4 times, and then we're just going to push the needle through the inside to the other side. And then as we pull the needle and the thread, the fabric is going to go with us and it's going to turn the right way around. So in any case, you're going to need a little bit of patience, but it does work. So after a couple of minutes, you see here I turned everything inside out, which means we don't see the stitches anymore or anything like that. It's on the outside, the pretty side, and this is what I have. And you see that I just keep pulling the thread and it keeps turning inside out the way I want it to. So now we want to make sure that this is all flat and nice, so I recommend that you iron over it a little bit. That way it's going to be thinner and it's always going to look neat. And here you can see the stitch that I'm probably going to go over one more time to make sure everything stays in place. So just a safety stitch on top to make sure that it doesn't rip. So I'm going to pin it a little bit to keep it in place or in the direction that I want it to, and then we're just going to stitch that up basically along the edge where I can feel on the inside that the first stitch is. So this is what my finished strap looks like, and I think it's pretty neat and looks really good. So since I used matching thread, you probably even can't see the stitch itself on the outside. So now what we want to do is just take this end and basically put it onto our top or piece of fabric or whatever we're doing it on, and just stitch over it horizontally. And that's basically all that we're going to need to secure our strap onto our top or t-shirt, and that's it. So now I'm going to show you a 2-colored strap that you can do a little bit wider this time. So you see here I have 2 pieces of fabric, different kinds but still matching in color. And now I'm going to show you how you can do one piece wider. So basically I'm putting the smaller piece on the outside, and this way I have 2 colors on the outside and the one strap in the middle. And just make sure you're satisfied with the length. So in my case, this is going to be 40 centimeters, but it might be a little bit more or less for you. So the wider piece is about 10 centimeters, the smaller one is about 6. So now we're going to put it pretty side on pretty side, then we're going to pin this outer edge. And now that we pinned this, we're basically going to do a regular straight stitch across this edge, and that way we're going to have the 2 pieces connected. And later we're going to turn the fabric the other way around. So now that we've done this one side, just make sure that everything's nice and straight and flat. So make sure to iron over it. It's going to make your work from here on a lot easier. So now what we want to do is basically form a little triangle. So we're taking the smaller piece and aligning it with the other open end of the bigger piece. And we're again going to pin along this edge here, and we're going to do again a stitch. And you can see the pretty sides are on the inside, so that's exactly the way we want it. Basically the other way around for now. And now that we've done this stitch as well, you can see what this looks like. So kind of a little tunnel or triangle or whatever you want to call it. And this is now the other way around. So we do want to turn it inside out. But I wanted to show you the stitches first. So I did a zigzag stitch in addition, just to make sure that it stays in place and doesn't rip as I wear it. So those are a little bit more flexible than the straight ones. So you see here what the inside looks like. And now this is going to be super easy to turn inside out since it's pretty big, but you could use your scissors as a form of help. So yeah, I think I'm going to be able to do it with just my fingers. So let's just turn it inside out, or the right way around. And now that we're done, this is what we have. Now, what we want to do is iron over this to make sure that it's nice and flat and doesn't do anything weird. So we can do optional stitches on the outside. I always recommend that because it just stays in place that way. So here is the ironed piece. You can see how flat it is now and how lovely it looks. It's symmetrical on both sides, so it has the little darker pieces on both sides, and in the middle is the lovely black one-colored fabric. So I hope you guys like this. So this is kind of a version that you can do with a little bit thicker strap in case you want that style, and you can do this with as many colors as you like or just one color, and I think it looks really, really good. So now I want to show you a really cool trick how you can do in a different way your own strap. So for that we're going to need a little bit of bias tape. And this is especially cool if you've done the top yourself and used bias tape to make it as well. So as a part of your top, then making a strap that's basically in the same color and same fabric is going to be really, really pretty. So you just fold it basically, you iron over it, you pin it together, you can even do a stitch to keep it in place that way, and that's what I do recommend. So on the open end, and then basically just do it all along from one end to the other, and you get a really easy, really fast top strap. So yeah, bias tape is also pretty stable and pretty sturdy, which also makes it a great choice for that. So I'm going to do the stitch and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is probably the simplest way to do it, and you see how thin this is in case you want those spaghetti straps, and I think it looks wonderful. Depending on the color that you use, you can have many different styles, different options, but it's done in a matter of minutes, and as I said, in case you did your top with the bias tape itself, then it's going to be even prettier this way. So another way to do it is to take an old piece of clothing that we can reuse. You see here basically the neck section and the top, and then we have here the straps. So this was done with bias tape, as you can see. So in case your piece is not wearable anymore or you just don't want to have it anymore, you can use the bias tape itself for a different top basically. So we would just cut along this edge over here to basically have just the bias tape, and then we're going to use that for our new top. So we can also do a different shape. So we can do a little bit narrower piece that you can tie on your back. So let's do that. So I'm going to take my ruler here, my wooden ruler, and we're going to see the distance. So basically we need the middle, and in this case the fabric is really working with me, so I don't even have to measure. I already see where it is. And now what we're going to do is just do a diagonal line from the middle to basically the other open end or outer end, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. So in case you don't have a fabric piece that actually works with you and shows you where the middle is, make sure you measure that out as well. So we have two lines now. So now I cut this out and you see the shape. I folded it in half and pinned it together to keep it in place. So now what we want to do is basically stitch over that open end so that it actually stays in place and the way we want it to. So you see here this open edge, basically the one that's pinned together. So we're going to do that. So here I am, and I did the stitch and turned it inside out. So you see the outside now, the pretty side. So you may see the stitch on the side, but I think it's pretty well hidden. So you can also see where I stopped basically, so it's a little bit shorter than a regular strap, and I'm going to show you why that is. So since we're going to tie a knot, you're not going to be able to see that later. And yeah, I wanted to show you how many different shapes you can have. You can have it narrower, you can have it wider, you can have it the same on both ends or different. So there are many different ways how you can do this depending on the style that you would like to have. So yeah, this was one idea. Now we're going to move on to the next one. Stay tuned. So I also wanted to show you a really cool trick how you can basically make your already existing strap a little bit prettier. So I have here a spaghetti strap, then here a sewing needle with some thread and a really thick knot at the end so that it stays where I want it to. And then we're going to start at the one end of our strap. So 1, and then onto the top again. Make sure that it's still on the same side. I hope you can see it well. I hope my focus is good. Let me fix that really quick, then you're going to be able to see it a lot nicer. So you see here how I'm going diagonally, and that's what we want. And then we're going to pull through. And then we're going to repeat the same thing. So we're right here at the moment, and then we're going to do again a diagonal line. So it's basically like a zigzag pattern, and we're going to keep doing that, so it's going to look a little bit more interesting than just a plain old spaghetti strap. So here it is after a while, and you can see the zigzag style, and that's what I wanted. So it makes it a little bit nicer. You can leave it as it is if you like the way it looks, but what I wanted to do is pull on it a little bit just to make it a little bit more ruffled. So this way you get a completely different style, and yeah, it's a really cool trick. You can have 2 different looks depending on what you like more. But yeah, just make sure you do it till the end and you have enough thread on your needle for it. And yeah, apart from that, it's all you need to do. It does take a little bit of patience, but it has great results. So I hope you guys enjoyed all of my ideas. Let me know which one you prefer or which one you maybe already do. But yeah, I have here a couple of different ones that I showed you, so I'm really excited to hear what your favorite one was. If you have any other tips or tricks to share, feel free to do that in the comment section below the video. So thanks for watching DIY Ideas. I hope you guys had fun. Feel free to subscribe to our channel and click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post something new. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to shoot us a thumbs up and let us know. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!